fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota.
Story about me, story about a friend, story about someone that I haven't even met. Either way, 2009, I met her years later, this is down the line. Her name was Cassie, a beautiful prom queen, far from trashy, but you know where it all leads to. Started hanging out with the wrong crew, drank her first brew and was taught what bongs do. There ain't nothing bad about that, a little bit of booze and a little dough shack. She never drank and drove, so she got a ride home from a friend's older bro, and then he offered her twat. She always said she never snort or bang. That night she didn't, she just poured the bag in with the vodka and Mountain Dew, and after that first night she was smoking it too. Now picture this, 2012, middle of the sticks and she's living in hell. Been 6 months since she put down the pipe, picked up the needle and tied her on tight. Now she lives in a backwoods trap house and she wears long sleeves so I can't see her track out. Turning two others in her room with Max. Now she looks at them, looks at me and busts the glass out. Fuck it.
All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota.
All I gotta say is, fuck nice, thinking twice. I know too many people taking rolls of the dice, grabbing at a moment in life, hoping that it is right, acting like it never happened by the end of the night. The next day it's like a button and repeat, binging on for 3 weeks, little more than knee deep. Methamphetamine, pills were made to see, won't stay away from me. Got me feeling like a needle in the middle of a hate. Chilling on the block up in the apartment. I know this place is hot and the cops are watching. Too busy nodding out on Oxycontin to risk leaving and getting spotted. To get a wide awakening at 6 a.m. from a drinker being at the window trying to get in. And I've always told myself that I don't wanna be them, but here I am another time getting high again. If you wanna crush it up, well then let's snort it. Start feeling off the golden like it was an orange. Take a tutor, focus on how my heart's been performing. Even though I haven't been to bed since yesterday morning. Paranoid they're watching me, gonna be kicking my door. And I keep digging in more poison, but I've lost the enjoyment. Sweat pouring through my pores and I couldn't ignore it. Fearing loathing for the outcome of the end of my story.
All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota.
Fear and loathing's killing me right now, so I'm gonna just step in this booth and let it all out.
In Minnesota, in Minnesota.
Welcome to the woods.
In Minnesota.
I'm right here, feeling in the middle, spinning round and round like it's a spender. Drugs and money, so many people swindle. It sound like game, but this is no Nintendo. Want a higher life with far wrong credentials. You don't even know me on my potential. Have to get it somehow, on another level. Going motherfucking hard, call that shit metal. Giving it upright, keep pushing pedals. Sorry, I won't lie, name's not Geppetto. What were you expecting, huh? Flower petals, living in the ice age, not a sunny metal. My ways are wrong, these days belong. I'll keep going strong till they play my last song. Cause this is all I got, here and finally done. Gotta get it in the double for that kick my own. 21 years old with the full plate, don't even make your way, go make some more. Do what you have to do to prevent the close. Succeed in the tracks of the ones before you. So pass it, dumb fucks that try to slow you. I'm on the mission, proceed to roll it. Who knows for us what our future's holding, but it stays in mind on this fear and loathing. This fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. This fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. This fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. This fear and loathing in Minnesota, fear and Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota. All this fear and loathing in Minnesota, in Minnesota, in Minnesota.
Minnesota, in Minnesota.
Yuck. DJ Dimmick, Boys in the Woods, Kush Effect Music, 2013. We in this bitch.